right, and these, I'm doing a series of videos here for our surface area. So the first one we're going to cover is going to be prisms, and also just naming different 3D figures. So we're going to go ahead start off with the naming. Okay, so prisms, they are 3D figures with two bases and rectangular faces. And you name them by the shape of their base. Okay, a cylinder. It's a 3D figure with circular bases. Okay, and they have one rectangular face. All right, pyramids. They're 3D figures with one base and triangular faces. And again, they are named by the shape of their base. So if they have a square at the bottom, they're a square pyramid. If they have a triangle at the bottom, it's a triangular pyramid, and so on. Okay, a cone. It is a 3D figure with a circular base and one curved face. So when you flatten it out, the face of it is actually curved. Okay, and the nets are flattened out 3D figures that can be folded to create one of the above figures. So you can have a net and it can make a cone, a pyramid, a cylinder, or a prism. Okay, so now we're going to go here. We're going to actually practice naming. So we've got all these on the side. Okay, we're naming these ones. This first one, this is a prism because I see it's got two of the same shape and then the rest of the sides are all rectangles. And so I'm going to name it by the shape of the base, the one that's 2, okay? And that's a pentagon, so it's a pentagonal prism. Okay, this next one, we can see we've got two sides that are triangles. So there's one up here and one back here. And then the other three sides are rectangles. So this is a prism, and it's a triangular prism. Okay, this next one, this is a rectangular prism because we got our bases. There's two of them, and then the other sides are rectangles. So it's a rectangular prism. All right, the next one here, we have a circle on top and a circle on bottom. And then if you were to cut this off like the label on a can, it'd be a rectangle. So this is a cylinder. Okay, this one here, this is another kind of prism. All you have to do is count the sides. There are 8 sides, so this is an octagonal prism. Okay, then the next one we have here, this is also a prism. Some might say a cube, but it's really not a cube because we got that 2 there. Okay, cubes have the length, width, and height all the same, so this is not a cube. But we have these 2 faces on the front and then the one on the back. Those are the same there. So this is really a square prism because this is a 3 by 3, so it's a square. So this is a square prism. All right, now we've got some pyramids and cones here. This one, this is a pyramid because we've got the triangular faces. Okay, and so we named it, and they're all coming to one point. That's the main thing for a pyramid. They all come to one point. To name this, we're going to look at our base. Look at the shape of that base. It's a rectangle, so this is a rectangular pyramid. Okay, and then here, this is also a pyramid, but you look at the base, it's a pentagon, so it's a pentagonal pyramid. Okay, this one here, we have a circular base and it's coming to one point, so this is a cone. All right, this next one, this is another kind of pyramid. that it's a triangular pyramid because the base is a triangle. Okay, on this last one, I'm actually going to add some markings so we can make this a little bit more interesting here. So we've got our base along the bottom, and you can see that all four sides are the same, so this is a square. So it is a square pyramid. Remember, pyramids and prisms are all named for the shape of that base. Okay, now along the bottom here we have some examples of nets. So this is like if you took one of these shapes up here and unfolded it and laid it out flat. So this one right here, this is a prism, and I know it's a prism because I see two shapes that are the same. Those are my bases. And then the other shapes, they're all rectangles. So this is a triangular prism, because the two shapes that are the same are the triangles. Okay, this one here, I see all these triangles around the edges. There's more than two. So I know this is a pyramid, and I look at the shape in the center. It's a hexagon, so it's a hexagonal pyramid. Okay, this one here, cylinder. These two over here, these are also pyramids. This one I'm going to put some markings on. So that makes this a square pyramid. And then this one here, we've got this triangle in the middle, so this is a triangular pyramid. All right, so now we're done with all the naming stuff. Now we're going to go on and we're going to talk about prisms and finding their surface area. The first kind we're going to talk about is the lateral surface area. So I like to say surface area, and then I put an L for lateral. Okay. This P, big P, stands for perimeter of the base. Okay. And then H is the height of your prism. Okay, so the height of the prism there. Okay, and the height of your prism, it's the distance between your bases. Okay, so the height of your prism is the distance between the bases. So let's kind of talk about what I mean about lateral surface area. So right now, hold off from coloring or doing anything on your diagram. Just watch and listen to what it's about. So surface area, the total surface area would be adding up all the sides, the area of all the sides of this figure. Lateral surface area is just doing all the edges. Okay, adding up the four, like in this case for a rectangular prism, you're going to be adding up 4 of the sides. So the way that I'm going to actually work this problem, we're going to be adding this side here, the one that's on the bottom laying down here, and the one that's in the back over here. So that's the lateral, the sides of this prism. So that's what the lateral surface area is going to find. So P, perimeter of the base. Okay, we have to name one of these sides as our base. And it gets tricky on rectangular prisms because really any of the rectangles, like there's 3 pairs of rectangles, any pair could be your bases. I'm just going to choose one here, so I do want you to shade in slightly the side so we know that we're talking about this is our base. Okay, you could trace it, outline it if you like. Okay, so this is our base. So perimeter. Okay, to find the perimeter, all you do is add up the 4 sides. So this side down here is 11. This side going up and down, that's 9. Okay, and it's a rectangle, so I know the top is also 11. And I know this back side is also 9. And when you add this together, you get 40. Okay, now the height. This has got to be the distance between our 2 bases. So if one base is here on this side, the other base has to be back here on that side. And so what's the distance between them? This right here. It's 3 feet. So that's the height of our prism, 3 feet. So now the lateral surface area, it's the perimeter, 40 times the height, 3. So it's 120, and since it's area, it's feet squared. So that's the lateral surface area. Okay, now this one, this is a triangle. So, I'm sorry, a triangular prism. So the base has to be the shape of a triangle. So we're going to shade in one of the triangles here. Okay, whatever the prism is named, that's the shape you have to shade in. So here's our triangle. We got to find the perimeter. Now, a triangle has 3 sides, so we're going to add up 3 numbers. And the sides of this triangle are 9, 15, and 12. And when you add those together, you get 36. Okay, now the height of our prism, well, what's the distance between the 2 triangles? 6. So our height is 6. So now the lateral surface area, it's 36 times 6, which is 216, and it's inches squared. Okay, next one. All right, this looks like a rectangular prism, but in reality, it's a square prism, and we call it a square prism because we have these pair of faces here that are actual squares, the one here and then the one that's back here. So this is a square prism. So we're going to use that square as our base. So a square, it's got 4 sides and they're all the same length. So I'm just going to do 3 times 4, which is 12. And that's our perimeter. Now the height of our prism. How far apart are these 2 squares? 8. So the height is 8. So now the lateral surface area, 12 times 8, 96, and it's inches squared. So that's it for lateral surface area. So that's the area of the 4 or the however many faces of the prism that are not the bases when you add those together. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is actually learn how to find the total surface area. So here we've got the total surface area. And I like to put a T for total. So again, P times H, this is your lateral, what we just did. And then here, this is your 2 bases. So to find the total surface area, you got to do the lateral, so the rectangular faces, but then you also have to add in the 2 bases of whatever kind of prism it is. So P stands again for perimeter of the base, H stands for height of the prism, B, big B, that is area of the base. Okay, so you're going to be using different formulas depending upon what kind of prism you have. So it's area of the base. So here we have a triangular prism. So I'm going to shade in this triangle lightly. Make sure you don't cover up any of the numbers inside it. Okay, so our base is a triangle. So first, in the formula tells you what you need to figure out. First, you need to figure out the perimeter. So perimeter, okay, we're looking at this triangle. Okay, it's 10 plus 10 plus 12, which is 32. Then we need the height of the prism. So again, this is how far apart these triangles are. So how far apart are the triangles? 11. Now big B, area of the base. Okay, since this is a triangle, we're going to do 1/2 base times height. Now this height here is not the same height as the prism. This is only talking about this triangle. Okay, so we're only looking at the triangle when we're figuring out big B. So it's 1/2. Now the base of my triangle is 12. The height of my triangle is 8. When you multiply this together, you get 48. So now we have P, H, and B. We're ready to plug into the formula. So the total surface area is 32 times 11 plus 2 times 48. So all I did was plug in for each number. And when you put this in the calculator, you will get 448 yards squared. Okay, next example. This is a square prism because we see this 11 by 11. So this is our square. Okay, so the perimeter. A square, it's got four sides that are the same. So take your side and multiply it by 4. So 11 times 4, 44. The height is how far apart are these two squares? 19. So the height is 19. And then now we got to figure out the area of the base. So again, we're just talking about the square here. So a square, it's base times height or side times side. So we have 11 times 11, which is 121. So now our total surface area is going to be the perimeter, 44, times the height, which is 19, plus 2 times that base, which is 121. And when you put this all into the calculator, you will get 1,078, and it's feet squared. Okay, next one. This is a rectangular prism. It doesn't matter which of these you use as the base. I'm just going to use this one here in the front. And the only reason why it doesn't matter for this is because all the sides are rectangles. Okay? If it's a square prism, you have to use the squares. If it's a triangular prism, you have to use the triangles. But rectangular prisms, you have a little bit more freedom there. So the perimeter of our base. We see this rectangle has sides of 11 and 8. So we have 11 plus 8 plus 11 plus 8, which comes out to be 38. Okay, the height of my prism is the distance between the bases. So we have the front here and the back here. What's the distance between them? 4. So our height is 4. Now we got to do the area of the base. It's a rectangle, so it's base times height. So it's 11 times 8, 88. And so now just plug into the formula. Perimeter, 38, times height, 4, plus 2 times the area of that base, 88. And then when we plug this into the calculator, we come out with 328 feet squared. All right, so that's all there is to finding the lateral and total surface area of prisms, and then also naming different 3D shapes. So make sure you go ahead, take these notes down, and complete any assignments that go along with it.